Hello, everybody. Welcome tonight. Very excited to present Sphynx Labs, multi-utility project right now on multiple platforms. Some of the utilities that they're offering is a Sphynx swap, charting, now staking, pyramid farming, and a bridge that they've come out with. More importantly, we have the team here on the call with us tonight to give us a high-level review over the project. Would like to introduce them and learn a little bit more about both of you. We have Lonzo on the call as well as B, both active on the core team over at Sphynx. So guys, if you don't mind, either one of you can really start off. We keep these really organic. So I would love, and the group would love to learn more about you guys and exactly, what your role is on the team, maybe what brought you to the space, and we can really get this kicked off.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick things off. First of all, I want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to come on the platform and really share what we've been working on. Put a lot of sweat equity in over the last 9 months. It's been a long journey. But now we're really starting to see a lot of the work that we put in come to fruition. And so thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to showcase and recognizing the value that we hope to bring to the space. And so my quick introduction, I go by B. I've been in the crypto space since around 2017. Outside of crypto, I'm a licensed attorney. I practiced for about a year before I realized that I'm what's called psychologically unemployable. I hated working 6 days a week and answering to people that, I didn't really have a high opinion of. And so anyway, I went to business for myself. Now I'm a serial entrepreneur and, I day trade as well. How I originally got into crypto, it's kind of a funny story, man. I was, like I said, got involved in 2017. I think kind of like how anyone would have been introduced at that time. It was actually my brother-in-law one day called me up and said, "Hey man, have you heard about this thing called Bitcoin?" And no, I hadn't. And he said, "Well, hey, you got to get some." And I did a quick Google. It didn't really make sense at the time, so that was the end of it there. But as the year went on, every time I would see him, he would ask me, "Hey, did you end up buying any Bitcoin?" And no, I didn't get any. "Hey, well, it's going up. Look how much money I'm making." And he would kind of rub it in my face, and that happened maybe 3 or 4 times. And before I said, "All right, fuck it, I'm getting in." And so I think I did what really everyone tends to do in the space is I slammed on the buy button and then I did my research. And the more I learned about the value proposition of Bitcoin itself and the crypto space at large, the more the concept started to make sense and the more I fell in love with it. And so I stuck around through the remainder of that leg up that Bitcoin had and through the bear market, and that's when DeFi really started to develop and evolve. Delved into the DeFi space, made some great friends and connections, and that's kind of where I was at really with crypto. Just as an investor, primarily in DeFi. And early last year, I got invited to a Telegram group, kind of like this one. Through time, some of the projects that were in there had asked me to come on and advise, and as fate would have it, there was one project in particular that Lonzo was also advising on. And I kind of recognized him from a few other groups, and I realized that we had a lot of shared input, shared perspectives on things. And so one day I kind of messaged him and I said, "Hey man, I've seen you around. What's your story?" And we started talking and we realized that we kind of share a similar brain, and that was the start of our friendship. And maybe after 3 weeks, he's in New Zealand, so he's 3 hours behind me. He calls me up at 4 a.m. and he says, "Hey, I have this crazy idea. Are you in?" And I'm half asleep. I have no idea what he's talking about. But, when you get to know Lonzo, the level of success he has outside of crypto and the vision and the level of understanding he has within the space. And he's not really someone that you tend to question when you get to know him. And so I said, "Hey, whatever it is I'm in, dude, just call me in a few hours when I'm awake and I can process something." And so that was really how we began to work together on Sphynx. And it's funny because originally we knew we wanted to create our own DEX. And at the time we realized there's all these DEXs around and none of them have charts. Like, why the fuck would you ever trade and you can't see what's going on in the chart, right? And so that was our original idea. We just wanted to create a DEX with a chart integrated. And so as we started working on that, as we progressed through development and, we're looking around the space, you realize, well, it's great to have a DEX with a chart, but there's so much more that we can build on top of that. And so our vision really grew into creating an all-in-one platform where you can not only trade your tokens and chart while you're doing it, but a place where you can obviously do your staking, do your farming, really manage and grow a DeFi portfolio, right? But we also wanted to integrate so much more. What if we could plug a bridge into it? What if we could plug an NFT marketplace into it? And so that's where the vision really began to grow. And we wanted to make ourselves and craft the platform really into an all-in-one hub for crypto and for DeFi, where whether someone's experienced, more seasoned, like I'm sure many of the people in this group are, or they're a newcomer to the space, they can come onto the platform and do whatever it is they need to do. And so with that now, obviously on the DEX, we have the swap, we have our own router. So, if you go on CoinMarketCap, you can find Sphynx as a DEX. We have our staking, we have our farming. We just launched NFT staking not too long ago. So now, we're getting ready to launch our bridge. But I think what we're most excited about is our wallet and our mobile app. And I think that's really where we're going to see our vision really start to flourish, because with the mobile app itself, people can come on and onboard straight from fiat into crypto with one of our payment integrations. And so, yeah, that's my quick introduction, a quick background on the project. And with that, I'll pass it over to Lonzo to share his quick intro.
Appreciate it. So my name is Lonzo. I'm CEO of Sphynx, and pretty much B summed it up. Similar time in crypto. I got in around that 2017 era. I started dabbling into smart contracts probably about 2 years ago, and we were just in a investment in one of the groups that we were in. Because we were involved in it for so long, we got to know kind of like how each other work and how we handle certain situations. And I kind of just saw a little, wouldn't even say little, it's a big gap that we have in the space. And the way that my brain is wired, I'm a what they call a problem solver. So outside of crypto, I'm a chartered accountant. I worked at the Big Four for about 7 years. And I started in financial audit and then moved over to risk, which so security is kind of like, a big passion of mine. And when you understand how the whole space works at a detailed level, you really appreciate where the space is going. So my passion for kind of crypto was kind of instant, which is why I think a lot of people see like the work that we kind of put in with Sphynx. So journey started about 9 months ago. One of my main things was I wanted to kind of show that, we're here to build a product rather than just a token. And it's kind of hard coming into a space where there's a lot of speculation, a lot of, everybody knows what goes on. So it wasn't easy, I would say. But we just, stay true to what we're trying to do in this space. And the last, I would say, month or two, the tide has started to turn in our favor, because I think the product itself, once people kind of jump on, a lot of people feel like, it's like a game now, it's kind of gamified, but at the same time, you've got everything available at ease. Everything makes sense. Everything's laid out in a manner where like it's easy for someone new or someone who's been in the space for so long. And the gap that I kind of started this whole point on is people coming into crypto, it's not easy, like the onboarding, I would say, it requires a lot of spaces, a lot of actions. So, for example, if, like, we want a friend or someone that we know to get into a project, like, we can't just send them a contract address and expect them to just figure it out. There needs to be a lot of handheld, but it shouldn't really be like that. And I think that's kind of where we've slowly starting to bridge that. We started with what everybody is seeing right now on the DApp, but the real vision is in what we're coming up with, which is with the wallet and with the mobile application. So we'll go into more detail the mobile application and wallet later in the AMA, but that's kind of like the brief intro about BNI.
Yeah, I really appreciate that too. I think it does need to be simplified, and if that's coming within the innovation of the project to alleviate a lot of that legwork for potential investors to understand and navigate the market, absolutely, right? That's something that is well needed in the space, and I think that it will be baked out for a long time to come. And I noticed also we have Vinny here with us on the call. Vinny, did you want to share about yourself and your part with the team as well?
Hey Dylan, how's it going? My name is Vinny. I'm with Sphynx from the beginning, working with Lonzo and B. I started in I learned about Bitcoin 2015 when I invested the first time, but bro, I felt paradigm scheme, so I just said, well, I'll never invest in crypto again. But in 2020, I started to invest in crypto again. I work for a lot of different projects and aiming to bring my centralized vision to this world, but I love the decentralized vision as well. So in the real world, I work with some startups. I've been partner of startup incubator, and when I started my work in Sphynx, I was like supporting the team with marketing, but principally in part of innovation, bring some ideas, changing some things. I think that Lonzo had something to share with you guys soon that we've been working on. And that's it. I'm with things from the beginning since since everything. And today I'm the current CMO. So with the team, I've been working on a strategy to not exactly just show the name, but create a plot around it to make people understand that Sphynx is something that we need to use and we will enjoy using it. So Sphynx basically, as you can talk here today, and be mentioning all-in-one trading solution, and we spend like a lot of time using different platforms. So this is one of my jobs here, is to show to everyone that Sphynx is good because you don't need to use different platforms. You have all in one, and we have like a very good product, like very very smooth, and that's it. Thanks for the space.
Thanks, Vinny. Yeah, and I agree that the product is really sleek, very professional. Just for me looking at what you guys have shared and what we've done our due diligence on so far, it's really impressive. So tell me more. I want to learn, deeply about Sphynx, from A to Z. How was it created? You've told us a little bit about that, but in terms of when was the launch, since then, what have you built out? What are you building out? Just really that high level review over the project is what I'm looking for here. So feel free to fill us in.
Okay, get your popcorn because it's a bit of a story. So we launched in around September on the BSC side. One of my things was I wanted to kind of at least have like a working product at launch. So at launch, because the whole idea of Sphynx is you have access to everything. It's not just restricted to, let's say, if you're on PancakeSwap, you can only buy tokens from PancakeSwap. If you're on ApeSwap, you can only buy things from ApeSwap. The whole idea is to have access to everything. So our platform actually we have our own router, and we give people access to buy tokens from other routers. So on the BSC side, we give the functionality to buy anything from PancakeSwap. From the ETH side, you can buy anything from the ETH Uniswap. So, and as we go on the other chains, same thing. So we'll have our own router, but we'll give people access to buy anything from the main decks and everything. So we launched, and then what we were trying to build then, and because of the space, it was very hard. It was very hard to kind of get the vision across. So we we wanted to have, like I said, a working product. So we had, I would say, like a real beta version, the chart and the swap, but it was still, slow, laggy. It worked, let's just say. But in development, honestly, like it's not just a few lines. Like there's 100 million lines of code that we have to go through just to do a bunch of things. So, and because what we're trying to build, which is trying to make everything, cross chain and work across all different chains from one platform, it requires a lot of work, and I think because of, just say the space that we're in, people are very rushed. People want things instant, done now. So it was hard to kind of, go out and continuously market our product. So yeah, we had let's say a good run, and then let's say the hype phase kind of died, but we were never trying to build something around hype. We genuinely we're trying to fix a problem in the space. Like that's it. So we just, put our heads down and continue to keep developing. So we launched on the east side around December, I believe. Again, didn't go as we wanted, as planned. And again, fell down to the same thing. People really didn't understand what we had. Like we had people participating in the pre-sale using our launchpad, and then later asking like, "What is this project?" So it was an error, let's say, from our side. So we still know we have the product. So again, we just kept on developing, kept delivering on what we said we were going to deliver on in terms of our utility. And I would say in the last 2 months, 3 months, we kind of just regrouped and re-strategized to kind of really show people what we've actually been building. We're not just here to be like, oh, we're going to build this or we're going to do this. No, we are doing this, and you can see it. So we relaunched, I would say, about a week ago now, maybe a bit longer. And yeah, man, people just come onto the platform, first time, and they just see it's that easy. The amount of clicks and tabs and everything is reduced to the bare minimum. All the little things that are pretty much automated. The integrations that we have are pretty unique as well. We have a stop loss feature. Even our stop loss is actually the smart contracts are integrated with Chainlink, which is also one of the partnerships that we have. All our smart contracts are audited as well by Certic, which is another partnership that we have. So one of our utilities is our launchpad, and we've got a tiering system. So to get the highest tier, which is a gold tier, you have to be audited by Certic. So that's just another add-on to kind of our ecosystem. So our ecosystem everything feeds into the chart. It's not like we have a utility driven with its own token. For example, with our launchpad, the fees that we raise from the pre-sale, that goes back into the buyback and burn to help us with our burn mechanism. The stop loss with the fee, again, you can pay in our token, which is Sphynx, or you can just pay in BNB, or the other chains that we're on, like ETH and BRise. Again, just to help with the burn, sustain the chart. We've got a farming and staking, which is not just limited to us. We onboard other projects to come and have their pools on our platform. So what we what we gain out of that and what the other project gains out of that is exposure. Like every project that comes in and has to use our platform for other projects, there's more users on our platform. And again, if anybody who let's say is into staking or whatnot, essentially that's the kind of projects that they look for. So when they see that we're consistently onboarding more and more projects, Sphynx becomes more of like a bookmarked project where they come and just regularly just monitor into projects. So more and more users will come on as we keep onboarding and let them use our utilities. So with the staking, obviously that has rewards. So we have the rewards with our farming. We've got rewards with our NFT staking. We have rewards that go back to our first generation NFTs. So when we roll out our bridge, our bridging protocol is we can bridge just normal tokens, but our main focus is to have a bridging protocol which allows people to bridge alts and stables, because essentially that's where the real volume is. So with our NFT holders for the Genesis, they get fees from the bridge as well. So there's a lot of ways to kind of make passive income, not just by buying and selling. So one of our kind of unique features as well is, as a holder, we actually redistribute the fees that the whole ecosystem generates to our holders. So based on how much you hold, you get a percentage of the redistribution. So you get that redistribution not in tokens, you get that in like the native token, which is of the chain, which is BNB. So again, that doesn't tank our chart or make people be forced to sell to make a little bit of money. So there's so many kind of utilities where you can kind of get into and find what you're comfortable in, because there's so many kind of options. So the launchpad, the NFT staking, the farming, and just the staking, the charts, the swap work across 3 chains. So BSC and ETH are already live, and just recently, about a month ago, we launched on the BRise chain. So BRise is a new blockchain, and we're the official DEX for their blockchain. So there's already been 2 other projects already launched on the chain, and they've all their liquidity and all their trading is done directly via Sphynx. So they had a pre-sale which failed, both of them successfully. I think they raised income combination about $750,000 worth of BRise. So things are moving over there. There's already, I think, about 50 other pre-sales on the launchpad. And BRise, like I said, it's just a new blockchain, just launched about a month ago. They're currently integrating with centralized exchanges where they can accept their actual token. So they're growing, and they're growing fast, and they're active in terms of their vision, and it works correlatedly with us. So that's kind of where we feel like we're gonna kind of put our mark in the space. So more people coming from the BSC side will come onto the BRise chain, and from any other chain. The way that crypto is moving, it's kind of like a race on who can be the fastest and who can be the cheapest. And I think BRise kind of leads the way right now. So I think that's kind of the high level of where we were and where we're at now. I'm sure I've missed a whole bunch of stuff just because there's just so much that's just going on at the same time.
Yeah, no, I have to appreciate it. I mean, when I read the first all-in-one, project, my first thought was, oh, wow, I want to learn more. But as you describe everything and the offerings that are there for, the investors that are coming in, I mean, it makes sense. You're literally building out like you said, these passive streams of revenue for people to leverage within the project and really the ecosystem at a total. But yeah, B, if you want to add on to that, I'd love to hear more before we move into the questions.
Yeah, I think Alonzo summed it up really perfectly. Just as far as everything that's in the ecosystem right now, and what I have. It's funny because I have like friends in real life who are fighting the project and messaging me and asking me questions about it. And what I always tell them is, well, the way you want to think about the ecosystem is whether you want to make money actively or you want to make money passively. We have the tools in the ecosystem to help you do either one. So if you're somebody who wants to make money trading, well, we have the DEX, we have the chart. You can do everything you need to do right there on the platform, whether it's on BSC, whether it's on Ethereum, whether it's on BRISE chain. And, we're working on adding many other chains. At the moment, we have our devs working on it already. And if if Alonzo's cool with it, we can share with you guys on today's call. But what I will say is because of the amount of devs we have and their ability right now, we're on track to add a new chain probably every 3 weeks or so. So yeah, if you want to make money actively, you can do that.
Drop it, B.
All right. So we have Polygon already done. I think this week we're going to be adding the Polygon functionality, and the devs have already started working on Crow. So we're about, I think, 13, 14 days away from Crow. Solana is about 50% done, and we're going to be working on Near as well. And people are probably going to ask, well, why Near? Well, what people don't understand about Near is that they have around $800 million in funding right now for grants. And there's only 8 projects that are on that chain, like in that ecosystem. So 8 projects, 888 million, like the money's got to go somewhere, right? So one thing that we're really paying attention to right now is where the rotation of capital in the space is going to go to. And because that chain has so much potential for development and it's not really saturated yet, it makes sense to position ourselves there and really gain a foothold before it really attracts the user base that it has potential to. So yeah, like that's one aspect of what we're working on. We have some more news for you guys later. I'll let Lonzo share the big stuff. Like Lonzo's Batman, I'm just Robin here. But yeah, you have the ability to make money actively and passively as well. So we have the staking, we have the farming, not just for our token. We onboard multiple other projects as well. But I think one of my favorite aspects of our ecosystem is the NFTs. And so if you were somebody who was around when we launched our Ethereum NFT and you minted one or you bought one on the secondary market, just from holding that, you can earn a passive income through the bridge fees. And our bridge is going to be focused primarily on stables. So you're not just going to be earning Sphynx, like you're actually going to be earning stables just from holding those NFTs from the fee accrual. We also have NFT staking for our BSC NFTs. So the mint for those is open right now. But if you're to mint one or multiple, we have a daily emission of, I believe, 750,000 Sphynx. So the amount of NFTs that you hold in stake is going to correlate to your claim or your percentage of that daily emission, right? And we have I think we have one guy who minted close to 100 of them. So he's just from minting and staking, he's getting a healthy amount of Sphynx every single day. So yeah, that's that would be my input.
That's really cool, and I like the terminology you use about capital rotation and then also the positioning, because in any emerging sector, timing and positioning is very prudent in terms of success, right? So the fact that you're recognizing that and scaling so rapidly, it's impressive, and it's something that I definitely look for. So give you your flowers there, guys. Good job on seeing that and actually executing that vision. But let's move into the questions. I think that you've done a great job highlighting it thus far. I'm sure that we'll pull out some more things through these questions, and if there's any big news that you do still want to drop, we can do that maybe towards the end. But I'll start it off. I guess my first question, I like understanding the project, how it makes money as a whole, right? So you've described you have multiple utilities that's feeding back to the project. And so I guess help me and, a novice, let's say investor, understand how all of these different utilities that you've created within this ecosystem actually feeds back to the project, and explain to me how the team and the project makes money itself.
Sphynx it runs as a business, so everything from top to bottom is done properly. So in terms of the legal stuff, registration, everything done. People even that work, for us under contracts, and our team is big. So to manage a big team, there needs to be structure. So there's kind of levels to the organization. So there's the core team, which is about 4 of us, and then there's about 17 developers and about 15 to 20 mods. And then underneath that, we also have people who basically go out and look for projects to come and do pre-sales, launch on our platform, do their farming and staking, and then that's about a group of 10 to 15 people. So that's just that side. So to do that, like you said, how does the team make money and everything? So in our tokenomics, for our buys, we have 9% tax, and for sales it's 12%. So from the 9, 4% development, 4% marketing, and 1% goes to burns. And for the sales, it's 5% marketing, 5% development, 1% liquidity, and 1% burn. So for paying the devs and mods and everything else in terms of operation, so I think a lot of people kind of get short-sighted thinking that to run things it's free. So to run such a big kind of project across hosting a lot of data and everything, it costs a lot of money. It's not like free or anything. So there's fees obviously from the tokenomics, but then there's fees from the whole ecosystem. So the swap fees, from the launchpad, we do the buybacks, we do the burns, but as volume obviously increases, it doesn't mean that we have to kind of put everything into that. It's all about just sustaining our kind of budget. So because of how the ecosystem kind of operates, we don't kind of rely on a seasoned market. We all know that there's a season for pre-sales, there's a season for DeFi projects, there's a season for fair launches. Even when there's a bear market, even when people are selling, they're still trading. So by trading, that means they're swapping and giving fees. So it feeds constantly, regardless of like I said, how the market's kind of going. Obviously, there's going to be times where there's going to be a big kind of spike in revenue, but at the same time, when there is a bear market, it's not just going to be really low, for example. So because it's only run by, I would say, one team, one management, it's more sustainable, and the kind of vision is consistent. It's not like we're trying to just come and just kind of just attach things to the ecosystem. Everything's kind of been placed for a reason. It's not. It has a special purpose. So with that, it's kind of how we've survived, even through the times where volume wasn't so strong or everything. It's just because of the little things that the whole ecosystem does that, one, can, I would say, help us keep moving, and two, just help the growth of the chart. So our main thing is obviously with the staking and with the farming. So because of, again, the more utilities that we have rolling out, with the wallet, with the app, with the NFT marketplace, with the Sphynx TV, all these other utilities, again, help us drive our burn mechanisms, increase the fees to the ecosystem, which again feeds back to the chart, feeds back to the holders, and feeds back to payment for keeping things operating.
Yeah, it's important. And that's really what I was trying to capture is, obviously you've established your salary that's going to pay out your team, quite a big team of developers, 17, much needed on an all-in-one token. So definitely going to need to keep paying those guys. But no, I you're feeding back, to the LP. I think that's important to establish, just better floors and to keep the price impact down as a whole. So, hearing more about the Launchpad, it sounds like as a holder of the token, you're benefiting from that as well. So I guess my question, the first question I have around the Launchpad is, what does really the vetting process look like? I know you mentioned earlier that they would have to be audited by CertiK. Now, from your Launchpad, can you just walk me through what it looks like for maybe a new project or even an existing project to migrate over and launch from your platform? What barriers do they go through, and kind of what are you checking off? Because you did mention you're big on security, and so am I. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious on what that vetting cycle is looking like and how you're being selective amongst these projects that come across your desk.
Yeah. So because it's decentralized, at the end of the day, I cannot control who comes and creates a pre-sale, right? And because it's so simple and easy, because that's the point of it. I can't control that. But what I can control is I call it like the verified tier. So if a project was to claim that they're docs, they have a utility, they've done a KYC, and they've done an audit, cool. You can go claim that you are a gold. But what we do to verify that they're a gold, we actually bring them in for an AMA, and we let not just us, let the actual investors who will be investing to kind of get their opportunity to do their own vetting. So they will provide us with the order, with the KYC and all the other information. And we will let them know, cool, these guys are claiming to be a gold tier. They're going to come to do the AMA, and then that's kind of where we verify, and then we will announce and be like, yep, this is a gold tier project launching on our Launchpad, et cetera, et cetera. So that's our way of mitigating it. But there's no, because it's like completely decentralized, there's nothing that we kind of limit to say, you have to come to us and then we label it, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think you see a lot of riffraff in the space, and that's why I asked. So I guess I really like the approach of the collective style, right? Like giving the community a voice to come in, do the kind of due diligence together. I'm a big believer of, 100 people in a room versus a couple of people in a room are going to get a lot more
100%.
done. Probably make better investment decisions, feeding off each other. So, putting that in there is definitely prudent. And I kind of want to lead into these partnerships. They're impressive. You mentioned Chainlink, you mentioned CertiK. So how do these partnerships work? And I'll tell you why I want to ask is we have a lot of, strategic partnerships as well, like with Alto IRA, they're partnered with Coinbase. Obviously, we have the Crypto Accountant and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, I know that these help, let's say startup companies really, really well. So I'm curious to understand what those partnerships entail. Is it a rev share type of partnership? Is it, just kind of sharing brand awareness? Define a little bit more around CertiK and the partnerships that you currently have and how they operate.
Yeah, so it's more about kind of a mixture. So more about brand awareness, but also utilizing on each other's services. We all kind of have, we're all trying to build products here. We're not just here to build, just launch tokens. So the partnership with CertiK is more aligned with our tiering for our Launchpad. So the whole point of audit CertiK is to audit smart contracts for tokens and utilities and everything. So that's like everything that we do. To have them on board with us and allow projects that come through us to get that express service and kind of jump the line with a discount, but also to help us as well at Sphynx. One of the representatives at CertiK, so they kind of approached us before we launched Sphynx right from the beginning. They're vetting, like, well, what is it really vetting? He kind of just called trying to just see who we were using as our audit service, and next thing I know, it was like a 7-hour conversation. It dragged from like 11 at night to like 5, 6 in the morning, and it kind of just started from there. Just explain, what we're trying to do, what we're about, and let them kind of make their own decision. And honestly, it's just been kind of, they've just been a massive support and a big kind of glue in terms of helping us, keep pushing forward. So that's kind of like where Certic lays. And similar with Chainlink. So like I was saying earlier, so one of the services, one of the utilities is we have our stop loss and limit order feature. So we use Chainlink's basically smart contracts for the stop loss. But again, so per transaction, we have to pay them every time basically an order is made. So it's not just that we get it for free or anything. But why we lean towards that is because it's kind of like certified, this is what they do. So it's not, even if let's say we were to come and build it, we would build it ourselves, or like we would build something similar, but it's more manageable when it's not really third party, but it's more sustainable this way. So we integrated 3 of their services, the keepers, the VRF for our lottery system, and also for our DEX for our price feed. So all 3 kind of help us get more exposure, 1 through the integration, but 2 just to get that top of the line product. So that's where those 2 partnerships lay. One of our biggest partnerships is obviously with BRise, as I was saying earlier, and we have other partnerships like with Wellcoin Talk, with Utility Celeste, and I'm sure I forgot one, and I apologize.
You're totally fine. I understand. I'm in the same as you. Make a lot of big partnerships. Right? It's so many. I totally get it. But the B-Rise, when you said that, and that's what really stuck out to me in the middle of the AMA when we were really going through kind of that high level review over the project. Being that official DEX, is that a paid partnership there? Is there any kind of income? I would imagine as they become a lot bigger, you would grow as well, and that seems like it could be a great stream of revenue for the business.
Honestly, why me and B were very kind of excited to work with the team from B-Ride is honestly there's just no greed. They're genuinely trying to build something, for this space. It's not about like money or anything, and that's the full agreement. Like all they asked was, we just want you to be the DEX for our chain, and that was it. There was never like, because you're going to do this, we want 50% or we want 100%. Nothing. No tokens. It's just a pure, like, you guys do this, we do this, and let's just meet in the middle. And that was it, man. And because we've been in the space for like, I would say deep in the space for the last 9 months, you see everything. You see like the worst of the worst, and you see like the best of the best. And because of the intentions of both sides, it's really why the Sphynx BRC has just been a massive success. Like we're sitting at like 7 million market cap. We launched at 100K. Like that's like 70x, and it's a 70x after the price of B-Rise actually dropped about 30%. So the project and the chain kind of speaks for itself. Like everything about it, where the ecosystem is heading, where the amount of work that the actual team that B-Rise actually put, that I guarantee nobody sees, is honestly like unreal. Like these guys are like like people think that I'm a bot. These guys are like mega bots. Like they are unreal. Like they do things quickly and they do things like wow, which is very rare in this space. And they just know they know their shit. Like it's easy to kind of quickly tell a YouTube div to an actual software engineer div.
Yeah, no, I was laughing. You're so right. I totally agree. And I think that also I like the fact that you're really aligning with what I would say can be considered really the thought leaders in the space, right? Like Certic is really that stamp of approval since they did Shiba way back last year, right? The price from when they, audited Shiba to what it is now is astronomical for that simple reason, was that success. But now they're that staple, and, having that affiliation with them, Chainlink, and now, B-Rise and so forth, will continue to give you exposure. That really leads me kind of into my last question, for now, at least, until I open it up for the floor here for our team. But it seems like, you have this DEX, you have all these different utilities. Are you guys planning on offering like any type of affiliate partnerships for maybe other projects to start leveraging some of your utilities, or even groups at that? And the reason why I ask, I see it, not only bringing more brand awareness, but also a lot more users, which would drive price up. But then, obviously streams of revenue as well. Having those affiliate partnerships can really drive people using your services. So if they're using your services, holders are going to obviously be rewarded much more. Have you discussed that internally, or is that on, a general roadmap, or is it a thought? Just curious.
B can take the floor for this one.
Okay. Okay. To make sure I'm understanding. So when you say it like an affiliate, so you mean, for example, like staking as a service, farming as a service, where projects could come or even be referred to put pools on the DEX?
Let's break it down easily. So let's just use the DeFi Angels as an example, just to make it super simplified. So the DeFi Angels, we see, hundreds of projects probably a week, given everything that launches on all these different chains. What if there was a partnership out there? If, say, we could recommend, we've vetted these deals, they would probably go well in your launch pad. Is there a way to work a rev share around that, right? Because then you're driving to your platform, but that can also work in other ways, not just in the DeFi Angel analogy, to where, say, what we see every day is we can see a lot of projects drive you a lot more opportunities, which would bring you more revenue. So that could, be an affiliate partnership to where we both like have a rev share, right? They are a success, they list, right? They have a successful launch. There could be a payment out to the DeFi Angels, but furthermore to even projects, right, that don't have staking, that don't have some of these things. If there's a way to integrate in and have that affiliate partnership as well, you have to imagine there's so many big communities within each kind of token project. So when you're able to tap into those in certain ways by leveraging what you already have and offering it because they don't have it, I can see just a huge drive of revenue. But it sounds like it's possibly not on the radar. And if I'm giving you it, I would definitely put it on there because I could see it working.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that we're open to. It's something that we've done on a couple of occasions with other groups. We do have one arrangement in place with another AMA group. So it's definitely something that we're open to. We're always looking for quality organizations that we can affiliate with and partner with and provide some mutual value. And I think that's something that Lonzo and I are always really looking to do in this space, is just making sure that any arrangement that we go into, or any other project or organization that we work with, that we're always giving them value in exchange for whatever they want to provide for us as well. And I think that when you go into things with that mentality of just looking to serve and looking to help and looking to bring as much value as possible, that's really what's going to see the ecosystem in general grow and thrive, and what's going to bring about more quality projects that people can feel safe with.
Yeah, I like keeping the open-mindedness. And then the reason why I bring it up, like, again, I just think it could be a big revenue driver for the holders and obviously for the business as well. But not to harp on it anymore. This is really a great project, guys. I don't want to keep bombarding questions. I want to give an opportunity for our group to ask you guys some questions. So I'm going to open the floor at this moment to our core team and also our deal flow committee. Real quick, anybody that is muted, if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat and we can ask them here for you on the AMA and get them answered for you. And thank you both B and Vic, and also my man Lonzo for everything. This has been amazing. But it's now Q&A time with the group.
Appreciate it, bro.
I would like to ask a question. So,
Yes.
hi.
How are
And
you?
I'm great. And before I ask my question, yeah, I'm really excited about this project. I had countless conversations with this team, about what they're doing and what they're going to do in the future. And you all have a lot of plans. Like it's in this space, like I think this is one of the projects that I can say I've been like the most excited about, just because of how ambitious you all are, and I see the execution as well. So you're not just ambitious, you have the tools, and you have everything in place, and you're strategic. So really bullish on this project. But as far as okay, so I wanted to ask about the launch pad, but I'll ask about that later. I actually wanted to know about the limit orders and the stop losses. Is this something that, like, if I purchase like a meme token or something, I think like my team is gonna laugh at me. Would I be able to utilize that for like a meme token, or are there limitations?
No. So it's on all BIP20, all ERC20, and all BRC20 tokens. So anything on the chain, it's not restricted to just a few tokens or anything.
It's amazing. And then as far as for your launch pad, what can you discuss with us? Like, what are the requirements? For any project that wants to participate. Just like a brief explanation of what the processes that they have to go through to qualify.
Yeah. So obviously there's two routes. So you can go your own route and try to market it yourself and broadcast it, or the second route, which is basically they just submit a form or get in contact with one of our team members, and usually our project manager would just go into the group, kind of just do some due diligence and walk them through the process and understand what tier they'll be on. So depending on what they'll provide with so it's just 4 criteria. So the CITIC audit, the KYC, the utility information, and a doxing of the team. So if they provide that, we'll help them navigate on what to do to showcase that tier for them, and from there we bring them into the AMA, let them explain their vision to the investors. So our fee is only 0.1 BNB and 1.75 off the raise. So we don't take any tokens from projects at all. So there's no sense of us, dumping or reselling it to them at market price or anything. We genuinely just want projects to come to a place and launch their token successfully, and then from there, we're not there to kind of take from their table. So that's kind of like the overall of the launchpad.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying basically you don't take a portion of the token, so you don't have to jump on their charts in order for you to make
money
funds
or anything.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like like our ecosystem. It's gonna sound cliche, but there's just no greed. It's not a standalone. We're not just relying on the revenue of the launchpad for us to kind of because what I was saying is about seasoned markets. When I say that there's a season for pre-sales, like we all know, like let's say from about June, July to like October, regardless of the project, if there was a pre-sale, 90 to 95% would fill, but after that, pre-sales die and everything. But so if you are a project solely reliant on projects launching on your launchpad, if there isn't sustainable revenue coming in, you're going to have to offload some of your assets. So it may be not done in a malicious way, but it's still done. And regardless of the outcome, there's going to be people that are going to kind of suffer. And the thing is, what I feel like it's hard for me to kind of even comprehend is that when these when they do these things where they sell these tokens, it's not like you're just hurting the project owners or anything. You're hurting all these thousands of investors, and these people are the ones that get affected the most because it hurts a larger amount of people than what they actually think they're doing. So besides from that, our point is like we don't take tokens even when we onboard projects for farming and staking. Like our fees are ridiculous. Like it's not for us to make money from them having their pool. It's again to allow them to kind of have a utility to kind of go back to the drawing board and re-strategize, give them a 30 to 60 day lock period on their pool to deliver on what they planned out to deliver, rather than just focus on just people just constantly selling because there's nothing going on. So the onboarding for that is seamless and easy. We literally create the pool, let their people come and stake their tokens, and let the pool run for a few days, and then we just transfer the ownership to them, and then the project solely controls the launchpad. So it's not like we have not the launchpad, the pool. So it's not like we have control to all these thousands and thousands of pool. Everything is in a smart contract owned by the actual project owners, but it's on our platform. So their users are being driven to our platform. Our investors are constantly seeing, new pools, onboarding, and the project, let's say before the new project, they're going to see a new pool on board. And like I was saying earlier, if your kind of preferred investments is in DeFi, like the staking project, when a new pool comes, they tend to have a very high APR. So again, you might just from their project side, you might just gain 50 to 100 new investors that if you were to go out and spend that money on like a core group or what, you wouldn't get the same value, because you're not just going to get these kind of new investors just right at the beginning when someone posts it. Every day there's going to be new projects coming on. So every day basically there's going to be new eyes on your pool and your project. So that, one, helps us, and two, helps the projects on our ecosystem. So as these projects, successfully get, better and more projects come onto our platform, the ones that have come on, from the beginning and throughout the journey, they're going to reap of the benefits of what we're trying to build here. It's not just that Sphynx is going to benefit. Anybody who's in the ecosystem is going to benefit.
Thank you. And one of your community members, they wanted me to ask a question to you, Alonzo. They said, can you ask about Christmas every Monday? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that's like with our reward system. So like I was saying with the passive income, when we get to that level, we can actually just start redistributing it on a weekly basis. Our ecosystem fees that get redistributed will be on Mondays. So that's where the Christmas every Monday has emerged.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I've got a couple questions for you.
How are you?
I'm good, and I'm sorry I'm getting over a cold. I'm a little raspy tonight. But first, congratulations on a beautiful product. I like the UI. It's clean. It's easy to follow. As I went through it, I did see a document about the Launchpad, and I don't know if I was missing it, but is there a white paper and roadmap somewhere in there for folks to, quickly access information about the product and where it's going?
So we do have our Getbook, which is essentially what I call our white paper. And in our Launchpad section, it breaks down every little finer detail.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
it was in a little different format.
We'll edit. Yeah. I think the format was is just a PDF, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of just like a brief kind of overview, not bombard people with too much information, just the basic, these are the fees, these are the tiers, this is what's going down. But in the terms of the, granular detail, we've kind of just buried everything in our, what we call our holy book, our gift book.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't read it from cover to cover. I did skim through it though. I saw a note in the Launchpad document, I believe, that Your swap is cheaper than some others. This is a fantastic sales pitch that really you shouldn't ever neglect to mention on AMAs like this one. But can you specify which swaps you're comparing against, maybe, and how much less it costs?
So on Uniswap, it's about 0.3 on like 0.3% per swap. Pancake's is 0.25, and ours is 0.2%.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I always, when I'm buying, as long as it's not like a launch, I usually do try to run it through a few different swaps. So I always love to compare and see what's cheaper.
Our swap will allow you to, if you're looking for getting in at launches, a lot of people have found that our swap allows them to get in without having their execution failed. So
Yeah.
we've got our auto slippage feature, which would enable you to basically, get in. And at the end of the day, I'm sure, like, if you're trying to get in at launch, you're just trying to get it.
Exactly. Yeah. Any chance there's a plan for a cross-chain swap at any point in the future?
Yeah, we've got big plans for that, 100%.
Okay, that's
like,
bullish. That's awesome.
So, like, the way that my brain works is, I started at the end and I've worked backwards. So we know where we want to get to, and we're working towards that goal. So in the environment that I, was working in, we work in a very agile environment, which is, you do things in small increments because things change in the space. Like what we want today isn't going to be the same thing that people want tomorrow, or what people are going to want in 3 months' time. So instead of just us knuckle head down, nothing, we don't know what's going on for the next 3 months. No, we work in, small bricks that in 3 months' time, regardless of what we wanted to do, it's kind of with what's going on and where the space is heading,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I love having AMAs with projects that already have a working product because it not only shows that it's a legitimate product, but it also kind of helps you have a conversation about where the growth realistically is going to be.
100%.
Yeah.
And that was one of my things. Like, I delayed my launch, honestly, like maybe 8 weeks at the time, because I was adamant to be like, before we launch, even if it's like not even a beta, just to show them like we are real. Because when I was going around and a few months back trying to explain this vision, nobody would get it. Like, nobody. Like, no, that's not possible. This is no way. These guys are bullshit. Like, I remember there was this one AMA. Well, I just shared the Figma file. Just the graphic. This guy was saying, there's no way that these guys are real. Look at the chart that they building, and in the Figma file, the designer used an apple graph. Like the apple stock. So this guy genuinely thought like, oh, we're just dishing out fake things or whatever. So that was one of the drivers to show, no, man, like, believe it or not, we're actually real, and we're trying to do something real. And like, you don't need to come at me in that kind of manner. And then like they were swearing, everything, and like, people sometimes get a shock that, wow, they're actually real people, because I'm the type of person that I will joke around and I can give it back, because you want to give it to me, I can give it to you. It's not a one-way thing, like you kind of don't have a reason to come at me like that. So after we had launched and everything, I remember they had messages apologizing, saying, oh, blah blah blah, we're so sorry we said this. Even I remember at one, after the AMA, because of how that person came at us, some guy was in like the private sale, and he was like, oh, can I get a refund? Boom, instantly send them a refund. The day after we had launched, at the time, we reached like, I can't remember even how much. And he had messaged saying, hey man, my phone actually got hacked. I didn't actually want a refund. Can I actually get some of my token? And I was just like, honestly, man, like, but like, that's to your point, like, once you kind of see the product, the product kind of speaks for itself. And I speak this, and I'm sure anybody who's kind of been with us throughout the journey, from where we started to where the swap is and the platform is now, it's like a different project. But I even promise you, like what we got coming in terms of our update, it's not seen. Like you guys are gonna enjoy.
That's awesome. And so kind of along those lines, because I love that you have this kind of all-in-one vision. I did see the education portal, which wasn't really mentioned on the AMA, but that is a really great feature, especially for new investors. I didn't go through all of it in detail, but I'm assuming does it include educational information on each aspect of your ecosystem? And is that kind of the plan to update it as you grow?
Yeah, so when we first started, till I would say today, it's been more like the general educational videos, like what is farming, what is actually staking, what is crypto, just the real basic generic information. But slowly throughout our journey, we've started to create like proper Sphynx tutorials about how to use the platform. And currently we're in the process of creating videos of like, kind of putting both. So explaining what farming and staking is, and then kind of walking through the steps on how to use our platform and what each little feature and, thing that we've put on the platform means and what their purpose is for.
Perfect. I think that was all my questions. Thank you.
I'll ask a question for one of the members in the chat, one of your community members. They said currently they have to use MetaMask, Trust Wallet, and Binance, or any other exchange to load in BNB, Crow, or cash out. In the end, etc., to get straight to their bank account. So they're tired of hopping apps to apps and doing multiple steps to invest in different chains, especially for beginners. It's a nightmare. So will Sphynx Wallet be the Amazon or Google of DeFi now? Is the question.
Hell yeah. So that's the whole idea. So with our mobile application, there's nothing out there. So what you guys currently see on the whole DAB, it will be downloadable through an application. So there's so much to gain in terms of a user experience. So all these dabs that are built right now, they're having to connect to different services, different applications and everything. Whereas everything that we've built is built on our own source code. So everything talks to one another seamlessly. So, that's really where the wallet comes in. So with the built-in wallet and our payment integration, you'll be able to just buy BNB directly from your Visa card and boom, you can trade. You can buy ETH, you can buy anything that you want. And if it's supports the chain is supported on our platform, then by all means you'll be able to trade and go for it. And the same thing goes back to withdrawal. So you can swap it back to a stable or an alt and cash it back onto your bank account. And that's the whole point, all from one application. So you can buy, you can trade, you can stay, you can farm, you can launch, you can go across the different platforms, and then when the day's over, you can convert it, cash it out.
Thank you.
Hey, Lonzo. Hi.
How are you?
Hey, you've got a really impressive product going here, and I appreciate you guys' time. I just, so you have a lot of moving parts, and you touched on something early in your intro. You said you were passionate about security. And just on one piece, we know that cross-bridge can be vulnerable, especially while things are lower cap. How have you guys addressed security across the platform?
So in terms of our smart contracts, we basically put multi-sig on a lot of the functions, like bottlenecks the operations, but long term it is what it is. You got to do it. So that's kind of one aspect. And secondly, we don't host anything publicly. So everything is on a public server, on a private server. So it reduces our exposure to a lot. And again, so other internal security measures that we implement to ensure that everything is A+ certified.
Cool. And have you done testing? I mean, you've got 17 devs, so you got a pen tester among those devs?
Yes. So we do our own pen test, and we get a third party as well. So
nice.
It's not just internal. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. I'll pass the mic.
Easy, man.
Okay, did you have a question from the chat?
I have a slight question. So I was reading your Git book and your white paper, and there appears to be a slight disagreement between the two. Did you guys have a B&B pre-sale?
Mm-hmm.
You did. And what is the vesting period? Because the white paper seemed to imply it was 30 days, but the
So yeah, this was like 9 months ago. So when we originally launched, so we just recently relaunched. So all the vesting, all that was long gone.
right. So the Binance Smart Chain, there's nothing vested anymore.
No, it's all open.
Okay.
I do have someone in the chat that would like to know, I guess I just want a recommendation. Is it best? Well, firstly, they asked, which I think you guys are, but they wanted to know, are you CERTIC audited? Was the first question. I assume so, but just asking,
Yeah.
right? That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
of course. So they can even go check it up on Skynet shortly. So it'll be uploaded on Skynet.
Gotcha. And then they also wanted to know, is it best to buy BRC, Sphynx BRC or BSC? They were asking, does it matter like which one they buy?
My answer to this is always the best is to buy Sphynx. What they want is up to them, because the way it's structured is it's two projects, but they're managed by the same team. It's not like there's no bridging between the two or anything. But because of how things are structured in terms of how it was developed, it's not the same token. So don't look at it in terms of if I buy this, it's going to be better than this, or if I buy this, vice versa. Look at it as you're investing in two different products. But you know the team. You know that they're working on this, and you know that they're working on this. So it's not you should buy this or you should buy this. Each one has this different kind of unique value.
Gotcha. But would you say the BRC option, would that have like a little bit more room to grow, just because that one is the newer one and has a lower market cap?
I won't give advice, but like this is how I break it down, right? Someone even from the chat has broken this down perfectly. So users, BSC has a lot of users right now. BRC doesn't have a lot of users. So it just depends on the type of investor. Are you the type of investor that's just looking to kind of, invest in something that you're accustomed to or you're aware of, or are you an investor that's looking to put in a little bit of money that again, when you invest, you should never invest anything that you don't want to be losing, but in a sense be comfortable that it's not just gonna 100 or whatever overnight, but because of the way that the ecosystem of B-Rise is heading, it's something to consider. So is it something that you're willing to invest in a up and coming, or are you willing to invest in something that's established and things are kind of, you can kind of portray where things are going to be heading?
Good answer. Someone else wanted to know, is there anything new and exciting that Sphynx and Bickert are working on, even though the collaboration is relatively new?
There's a lot of stuff that we're working on in the back. There's going to be there's a lot of projects that go through their startup studio. So Bitgert has a startup studio where projects can come, and Bitgert does their due diligence with a KYC, etc. And they help them with their initial marketing and their initial push to bring them onto their ecosystem. And the plan with that moving forward is, because of the growth that they've had, the amount of projects that have kind of applied and coming through the startup studio, it's wild. So expect a lot of new projects coming into the ecosystem, and expect some big projects, some big names coming onto the blockchain. So some well-known tokens that a lot of people are familiar with are slowly, going to be bridging over.
Very good. So many questions and so many offerings, right? Within a project. This is it's amazing, and I can't wait to break out with our team and discuss more. Before we do that, though, does anybody else here on the call have any more questions for the team? Or if you're in the chat, feel free to type it out. Going once, going twice. And look at that. Lonzo, B, and Vinny have knocked it out of the park tonight. Gentlemen, seriously, we see a lot of projects that come across, and we turn away a lot of these AMAs as well. But this one did have us really excited. I will go out and say that I took a position earlier in the week in the project alongside some of the group here, and it's been very pleasant. So getting this AMA, getting all the information that we wanted is great to hear, and I'm really looking forward to discussing it more with the team and seeing how we can get more involved within the project and oversee some of the growth that's to come. So congratulations thus far on the success. It's not over though, so let's keep it going.
Just beginning.
Right?
Just beginning, I promise, man. Like we have, like I'm gonna use some foul language, but we ate dog shit for the last 9 months, like. But it's gotten us to this point where we're just, not just excited, man. Just like there's a sense of relief because we knew what we were building, and it's only now that slowly people are actually genuinely seeing the value. Like people are slowly stripping away from just the price and the chart and everything, and seeing the puzzle that I've been trying to put together to them. So to that, honestly, the support and everything has been absolutely phenomenal. But from our side, like we haven't even ruffled the feathers yet. Like we've got so much coming, and we're just so excited, man.
Cool. Yeah. I think having so many things probably at first for most people in the space was kind of like overloading their mind, right? Like there's so many things that you're building, and as you become more seasoned in investing, and especially in the DeFi, you start to realize you need a lot of these things, right? It alleviates a lot of the bottlenecks that we have in the space. And if you get your teeth kicked in multiple times, like a lot of people have in the space over the last year, really in particular, the last 3 months has been terrible in terms of launches and everything that we're seeing. But with the market sentiment coming back, obviously there's been some more innovation coming to fruition. But seeing this is it really is a breath of fresh air. And I'm excited to be an investor in the project, and I'm just delighted to have your team and your community here to share it with us. And I can't wait to get this in our recording and publish it out for you guys. But wonderful AMA. Again, thank you, Lonzo. Thank you, B. Thank you, Vic. Thanks to your community for coming and showing out and asking questions. We really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to being more involved. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. We'll stay in touch.
Yes, keep us updated with all those juicy breadcrumbs that you're going to be dropping, all right?
I got you, man. I got you.
In closing, before we do, I was going to say in closing, before we do in the AMA, for the folks that are going to be listening that aren't in the chat right now, what is the best way for them to reach out and get involved with the Sphynx community? Is that going to be through the Telegram or just go to the website?
Telegram is fine, man. Like anybody from there will pick it up, whether it's from our team or someone from the community. We'll just guide them to the right people. We're very active. We've got a support channel, so if you do, have some technical difficulties trying to figure anything out, you can just shoot over to our support channel, and anyone from there will kind of guide you in the right way.
Very good. We'll be able to share that then when we come out with the recording tomorrow. So we'll get that over to you guys as soon as possible, and then we'll start the marketing process as well. But looking forward to the success. And again, congratulations, and thank you all for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers.